Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, my name is Joviana Palacio. If you're not new, welcome back. Thank you for showing up, coming in, checking out. On my channel, we talk about all things beauty, and I am so excited that you guys are here because it is literally 2 days before Valentine's Day, and I've got this look here to help you slay. Like, just slay, absolutely be stunning, gorgeous. And I'm so excited. I dip back into this guy, which is the Urban Decay Naked Reloaded palette. You can create so many looks with this palette. If you're looking for an everyday look, like I 100%, you could do everyday, you could do office, you could do parties, you could do, just so much with it. And I'm so happy. I did my regular, like I used some things that I normally use, but then I also tried out some new things. I do want to do a side note real quick before we go into the tutorial and tell you. So my e.l.f. Camo Concealer, I love this concealer. It is full coverage, it is matte, it is so good. I know that I've shared with you guys my technique on letting it dry for a little bit and then going in and blending it out. Don't do that with these. Disclaimer, don't do that with these. I had a really hard time blending this out when I let it sit for too long. It is a very fast drying concealer, so just blend it in and it will be just as good, just as full coverage. Besides that, I am so happy because we are doing our second video for this Valentine's Day series. It is in 2 days, 2 days? Yeah, 2 days, and I'm so happy. This is the look that I'm planning on doing for Valentine's Day. It is edgy, sultry, sexy, but soft at the same time. Like, I don't have an eyeliner on, but we did a little bit of a smoked out eyeshadow situation. The lashes are way more toned down than I would usually do. But I don't know about you guys, I talk about this a little during the tutorial. Guys are so weird. Like I am always at 200%, but my husband loves when I do something like soft or subtle, yet a bold lip. Like, it's so weird. So I try to incorporate more or less what I know he likes in this video, and I suggest you do the same. I know we do it for them anyways. Kinda. Because I really do it for me. They think we do it for them, right? Let's just, we'll let them keep thinking that, that's okay. So I am gonna stop talking and mumbling. Let's get into this tutorial so that you guys can see how I created this look. Okay, so we are ready. Yes, I have tape on my face, and that's what I want you guys to do. So I just took regular tape, and what I like to do is break a piece off, and I like to, I would say maybe about 3/4 of like your finger length. And I like to make sure that I put it on the back of my hand, pull it off, put it back on my hand, pull it off to make sure that most of the stickiness gets left on your hand and not on your face, so you're not like pulling at your face when you're actually taking the tape off at the end. So after we do that, we're gonna definitely prime. So we're gonna use our Old Faithful primer here, the Urban Decay Eden Primer. And so I'm gonna take that, and put it on my eyelid using the applicator, but I love to blend it out using my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. So I'm gonna work that in with the crease brush. And it does start to get tacky and thick, and once it starts doing that, I like to make sure I push it in with my finger. Not only is that gonna help warm the product back up, but it is also gonna help make sure that everything is one nice thin layer. Okay, so once we have our lids primed and prepped, what we're gonna do is start off with our eyeshadow look. And so I'm gonna use this guy today. Excuse me, it brought back the Naked Reloaded palette. It has the prettiest shades for this look. And I'm gonna try that out. This look is awfully simple, it's super easy. I just wanted something smoky and sultry for Valentine's Day, but edgy, hence the winged eyeshadow wing. So we're gonna take the first color, which is Blur, on this JH30 brush. So this brush is the nice big fluffy brush that I like to start all my looks off with. And I like to use a pretty close transition shade. Like Blur is a very close shade to my actual skin tone, but because we've already laid down Eden has helped to brighten up my lid, which will make Blur a little more visible. So I'm gonna take this large circular motions from inner corner to outer corner, and this is gonna be my first base shade that's gonna help map out the shape. Like every other look, you always wanna look like this on, so that when you're blending out your darker shadows and you're layering everything to smoke it out, you have a good base and something to help the blending. So when I built Blur up to where I want it, I'm gonna apply Blur, but I'm also gonna dab into Bucked, which is a little deeper in tone. And what this is gonna start to do is really start to carve out this crease area and the outer corner. Don't forget to take it right up against this tape. It's okay if it goes over the tape. I really like to focus this look right in the outer corner here, the lower outer corner, just because that's gonna help me create that sharp wing. I'm trying to keep this look fairly simple, but very smoky. Like I'm trying to make this best of both worlds. I don't know about you guys, but my husband is like one of those guys that always says you look beautiful with no makeup, with makeup. I just, you know, whatever you want. But then I also know that he loves it a little more natural, because then I'm a little less high key. You know, like when you're wearing lipstick and you don't want them to kiss you, or they don't want to kiss you because they don't want to get it on them, that kind of situation. So he loves it when I like tone it down a little, but he won't tell me, you know? So this is why I'm doing this kind of look for myself and for him on Valentine's Day. I just want to make sure that we're both getting what we want, you know? I like to look cute and glamorous, but I know that he also wants to be able to like kiss me and squeeze me and hug me and all that stuff, so. Okay, so now to move on, we're gonna go on to Endgame, which is that nice brown shade in the palette. And I'm gonna take my M433 Good Old Faithful brush. It looks like this. And so we're gonna go into that, and I'm gonna just pack that onto the brush. Take off the excess, and I'm gonna start by patting it right into this outer corner, and then even blending it into the lid a little, starting to wing that out some. I love this brush because it helped me honestly to blend and build color at the same time. Like you need this brush in your collection. I don't know how else to say this. You need this brush. I've had this brush for years now, and I constantly go back to it. I don't think I've ever found a brush that is gonna do what this brush does for me. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna build that. I'm gonna pack it. Don't worry about taking it too far into the lid with this brush. I actually use a smaller brush for that. But I do want to kind of like V out the outer corner, load the color on to this outer corner. I am building it up quite high, and when you are working it up towards the actual brow, you wanna make sure you're using lighter pressure, very light circular motions, using your wrist to really work that up into the buckle and, bucked and blur shade. Yeah. Just like that. And then I'm gonna take this guy here, which is my JH40 with that same Endgame color. And I'm just gonna make sure I pull that into the lid, staying very close to my lash line. So everything is smoked out even towards the lash line. Luxie brush, this is a 239 blush. And so this guy I'm gonna take, it's a stiff, flat packing brush for the lid. Anything will do. I'm just gonna take Dreamweaver and Distilled and kind of go back and forth between the two colors, and I'm gonna pull that onto the lid, building it very slightly. It's not gonna be the brightest lid. It's just a subtle way to keep the eye brown and smoky, but giving the lid a little bit of something. This is where I'm gonna leave it. Right here, you guys could go in and you could absolutely, instead of doing the combination of browns, you could do maybe some of the pinks. You could brighten it up some. You can even use, what's that shade? Angel Fire or Barely Baked to kind of brighten that up. I just wanted to keep it very brown, smoky eye for this situation. So moving right along, I'm gonna tight line and do a bit of a top liner just to help back up and thicken up my lashes with this guy, the Demolition Eyeliner by Urban Decay. Perfect. I'm also gonna add a little bit of mascara. I'm gonna use my Benefit Roller Lash Mascara just to help my lashes out a little bit. Picking them up just some, zhuzh them up. And then I'm gonna use a pair of Sephora Collection lashes from their Lash Story collection. This is their Cheers lash. It's very pretty. It's like pointed at the end, so it is like flared out the entire way through, very wispy. But I'm just gonna take a little bit off of the outer corner to help me be more comfortable while wearing the lash. It is a very light lash band, I will say that. Like it's pretty, it's very subtle. And that's what I want. I want to be approachable, you know? Like, I know that we're married and he's my husband, but you know, sometimes boys are simple creatures, girls. Just keep that in mind. Guys are simple creatures, and you don't need to do all that much. So I'm gonna take my lash like I always do and put it in my lash curler. I just wanna make sure that I give it a good little curl so that it sits up nice. And I'm gonna take my Faithful Duo Quick Set glue. If you haven't tried this, there is a difference in glues. It'll make the whole experience so much more easier for you if you use this quick set glue. So good. And then my handy dandy applicators. I used to swear that applicators weren't worth it, that it wasn't like I could just use tweezers. These applicators have absolutely changed my life and the game of applying lashes. And I've been applying lashes for years now. I just started using this about, I don't know, like last year was the year that I really truly started using it, and I completely 100% take back what I said. Like, you need a set of applicators. Not only is it safer for your eyelash, but the way that it just completely applies the lash, you can squeeze them together, you can adjust them on your band. You can't do that with tweezers. So get yourself some applicators. I'm gonna start by applying it in the center. These are pretty. These are really, really pretty, and they're very light on, so we like. Now I can pull off the tape, and let's get to working. Okay, so let's move on to the face. We are doing a Faithful True combination. I am just using a primer. I think I've used it on my channel before, but it's been a while, so we'll talk about it. This is the Ole Henriksen Banana Bright Face Primer. This guy has vitamin C and banana powdered, so it helps to not only brighten, but also does a little bit of color correcting if you've got a lot of dullness, a lot of gray, purple undertone. So we're gonna use that on the outer perimeter of my face just to kind of help hydrate, moisturize, do all that good stuff. And then we are actually using a different blurring primer on the center of my face, and it's this guy right here. This is the Tasha Silk Canvas Primer. I've used this a couple of times and I like it. I just don't know that I am super convinced by it. If that makes any sense. I just like something that's a little more mattifying. It's definitely blurring. I just like something that's a little more mattifying, a little more oil absorbing, but I don't really remember why I don't like it, so I'm gonna just try it. If you're someone who is just worrying about the blurring, the smoothing texture type, you will definitely like this. I just don't know that if you're oily, like super oily, that you are gonna like it. So great for foundation. I would trust nothing more than my Smashbox Studio Skin 24-hour foundation. I use it in the shade 2.8. And I always just recommend that you start off with about that much on the back of your hand and then add if you need, just because this is a very pretty foundation, but if you're not careful and you apply too much, it can get cakey. It is very full coverage and it doesn't need a lot. I honestly have no idea what we're doing for Valentine's Day, and I know it's 2 days away. I'm kind of letting him take the wheel on this. But I don't think that I'm like a super, I don't want to say I'm low-key, because I know that I'm not low-key, but I don't want to say that I'm like extravagant, need to go to a 5-star restaurant, spend a ton of money type of girl either. I feel like I am more a, let's spend time together, you and I, maybe go for a walk on the beach. I would like drinks and food at like a restaurant that we maybe never tried before, but we'll try it together and kind of get that experience together. I'm more about memories. I will say that. I am more about building memories and experiences. What type of girl are you on Valentine's Day? Okay, perfect. So that is enough coverage for me just because I am gonna build on that with my concealers and my contouring. So let's get right into that part. We're gonna use this guy right here. This is the Milk Flex Foundation Stick. I use it in the shade Medium Tan to help me bronze up, especially when I'm taking pictures. And I know that we are gonna be taking pictures on Valentine's Day, right? So I love the way that this shows up on the skin. It bronzes, it really does help to warm it up. So I'm gonna use that and work it in with a BH Cosmetics brush. This guy is part of their Marble collection. It's the #1 brush. So I'm gonna work that into the skin, patting it, stippling it in place, and working it into the hairline as I go. Because this is a foundation, it's gonna add coverage, which is why I asked that you guys not build up the foundation so much. That's bronzy and warm, but I actually wanna like contour a little more. So I'm gonna get into this guy right here. This is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in Beautiful Bronze. It is just a nice contouring shade, and I'm gonna apply that right here. You can tell how much darker that was than the first shade, but it's just truly a contouring shade, and it's very pigmented, so be careful. I love those products. It's so inexpensive, but it's very, very pigmented. I definitely love that concealer to like contour. I don't know that I like it under my eyes. I've tried it a couple of times, and I don't know that I loved it. All right, so moving on to the best part of any part of your makeup, the concealer, guys. I mean, I love eyeshadow. Eyeshadow and concealer are kind of like a close tie. So I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Camo Concealers, and I use a medium beige shade to conceal. So I'm gonna take that right here in the very inner corner. And this is my everyday shade, I would say. So this one's definitely a concealing shade. I like to use a concealing shade, and I also like to use a highlighting shade. So what I'm gonna do is take my highlighting shade, which is Medium Sand, and I'm going to apply some around that, because that's where I have the most discoloration, is in the area where I just laid down the natural shade. But I do want to highlight like the high parts of my cheek with this shade. I want to even out some discoloration here. And you also want to lay it on the chin and the forehead just to make sure that everything is evened out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work all the product that's on this applicator without going back into dip, like work it. So we're gonna let that dry for a little bit, set in. How cute is this cup? My mother-in-law just went to New York and brought back this cup as a souvenir. I am definitely a coffee person, but it's so cute. I love the style of it. It's very old-fashioned, and I love the color. Oh. Okay, so perfect. That's been setting there for a little bit. We're gonna start with down here, the chin. Then I'm also gonna take the forehead and just bounce that in to place. And like I mentioned last time, I'm gonna take this guy right here. This is the JH08 brush. And we're gonna start to work this in all the way up here to kind of tie everything in. Okay, and once I've set it down, I'm gonna just go work around it with my sponge. It is a very fast drying concealer. Like, I feel like this dries a lot quicker than my Too Faced Born This Way concealer or even the L'Oreal concealer. So you can definitely rest assured that you don't have to wait as long, because I'm having to work a little extra hard to blend this guy out. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is grab my MAC C2 Studio Fix Powder, this guy right here, and we're going to apply that to the under eye area. And I like to use this guy. This is my JH07 brush. And we're just gonna set all of that with this guy right here. This is gonna help build that coverage, but also absorb a lot of the oils. Next thing we're gonna do is a little bit of baking, just a tiny bit, and we're gonna use my Old Faithful Hourglass to do that. So I'm gonna take that on my sponge, and we are going to push that in and work it into the under eye area. I like to just push that in to the areas that I am working the powders, just because you want to make sure that you work it into, especially me. I have very large pores, so I want to work it into the pores, not just set it over it, because eventually throughout the day, it's just going to be like, and come right back up. Pores are resilient, so I just want to make sure that I'm setting everything properly. And as that sets, I'm going to go back into this guy and finish up my under eye area. I'm just going to literally repeat all of the steps under the eye. So I'm going to take Blur and Bucked and work that in first. And I almost like to take it right under the wing to just kind of soften that up a little bit, because I don't want it to be super aggressive. Like, I know it is very much present, but I also don't want it to be super aggressive. So I just kind of like to work that under. I'm gonna use the shade Bribe in my inner corner just to kind of brighten that up. And you know that I love to take it like up into this hollow here. All right, once you do that, go ahead and put some mascara under your eyes while we have the powder still down there, because we're about to wipe that off. So to wipe off the powders, what I like to do is take this guy right here. Before we actually start to like blend everything out, we are going to contour a little further. So I'm going to take my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I like to use the two shades Sombre and Subconscious, which are this one and this one. I like the gray undertone, but then I also like the darkness of the brown, so they just kind of offset each other to make my perfect contour shade. And I'm going to take that right at the edge of where I blended out the Milk Flex stick. We are going to go into a fluffier brush and take that middle shade. This guy right here, it's also part of that Marble collection by Beige Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna warm up the skin with this. Slash also blend out that contour a little bit. All right, so I do wanna dust off with some Studio Fix powder, but before we do that, I'm actually gonna bake underneath the contour to kind of help set that down. And I'm not gonna use my beauty sponge, I'm gonna use my puff. Got a powder puff here. And I like to start by following this tragus right down to about here, like the center of the eyelid. I don't want to take it too close to my mouth, because then it becomes like a beard and it looks weird. And as that's doing that, I don't want to let that sit for too long. We're going to take my MAC Studio Fix in C5.5 and my powder brush. This guy is also a BH Cosmetics. It's like a deluxe brush, so it's the V11. I love a clean brush. I'm gonna take that and I'm just gonna start dusting away all the excess powder on my face. I do like to have a subtle yet like very pretty glow to my skin, especially for tonight. Like, I just want it to be, not tonight, but for Valentine's Day, I want it to be like super glowy and like coming from within type of situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Laura Mercier Glow Powder, and this is a very very pigmented type of like powder. So I'm going to take this on my JH06 brush. I'm going to pick it up on the brush and I'm going to just kind of work it into the brush with the lid, and I'm going to start by laying that right here. I like this powder because it has a glow to it, but it is also a setting type of powder. Clients who are drier, that want something on their skin, but don't want super heavy powder, this is really pretty for you. You just like something all over, that type of glow. It is so nice and so pretty. Especially for medium to dark skin tones, it is like the perfect shade. So I'm gonna take that in a C shape like I would my highlighter. to start to give myself a glow, some type of dimension, but I am gonna go in with a little more of an intense highlight. I'm gonna go down, brush sizes, I'm gonna use this guy, my M501 brush. I love this for highlighting. And I'm gonna take my good old Makeup Forever Pro Fusion. This guy right here, I love this for a highlight. I'm gonna take that, the very high points, and just intensify that some more. Yeah, let's do this. All right, so I'm gonna take my BH Cosmetics Blushing in Bali, and I'm also gonna take my Luxie blush brush that's a little loose. I'm gonna take the shade Lychee, which is that very pinky tone, and I'm gonna put that like right on the apples of my cheek to work that in. Do that gradient of like pink. That's what I want. I want something like subtle-ish, because this is very intense. Like, it doesn't pick up on camera the way that it does in person, just because these lights are intense, but I actually gotta tone it down a little bit. I am going to do my hair, finish off my like outfit, and then I'll come back for the outro. We're gonna set this though. We're gonna set using my Urban Decay All Nighter. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I know, I said red, but I changed my mind. I found this shirt and I was like, you know what? I like it. I like the way that the plummy, like almost burgundy type of lip looks with this. I feel like we did it. We achieved the look. We did it. The eyes are super smoky and sultry. And the good thing about brown is that at this point you could do a nude lip, you can do a red lip, you can do a pink lip, you can do absolutely anything you want just because it is such a neutral look. I love how it all came together. The lashes I feel like are so pretty. They're very different from my average lash. I will say that. Like, I'm so used to a full like boom type of lash, so this was nice. The lip that I use is a Sephora Collection liquid lip, and it is in the number 24. These lippies are super comfortable. I love that they wear so well. And then I also topped it off with a matte lipstick from NARS in Loving Lips. This is like, it's like a very subtle ombre type of look. It just kind of went into the center and really helped to, I don't know, tone down, tone up something. I just like the combo of it. It's super pretty. I just love this right now. The skin is looking glowy and dewy. I love the transition that's happening there. I love the eyes. They're like intense but not overly done, and that's kind of what I wanted to go for. Very romantic braid going on back here with my little cardigan. It's a little low cleavage action, so I'll stay sitting down. You're welcome. But this is the finished look. I hope that you guys liked it. Hit the thumbs up button so I can do videos like this more often, where they're focused, theme focused, Valentine's Day type of, you know, like the mini series that we just did this week. And then don't forget that I upload every Wednesday and Saturday on my channel, so subscribe to my channel. That way you are notified of when my videos upload. We talk about beauty and so much more, so don't miss that. I will see you guys next time.